Hip hip hooray! We are celebrating week 12. Congratulations. You have made it all the way till the end of the League of Women, and I couldn't be more proud of you. And I know I've said this so many times as we have progressed in this program, but I really am so proud of you for all the monumental progress that you've made, all the things that you have overcome, and really for the future that you are about to create. Now, talking about future, I do want to go over our worksheet assignments. And so you will come across creating a life plan. I know that we have been working together these last months, and that you likely want to create a plan for the future. So, what I have here set up for you is, of course, some Q&As, but also a layout on 5 steps to create a life plan. And so, if you read here, you will notice that this life plan is meant for you to visit every week, just so you don't forget your goals and you're able to review the progress that you've made. Now, I encourage you to review and modify the life plan once a year in order for you to adapt to the changes as you progress in your life and in your business. So, the first thing that I do want you to do is to create a life vision statement. Now, I want you to keep it simple and direct. And I want you to write down 6 statements which you identify the most. So just imagine we had 1 year to live. How would you like to be remembered? So I want you to write down 6 different statements on how you'd like to be remembered. And then from the above statements, I want you to write down the statement that resonates with you the most. After you have uncovered your life statement and you feel very certain about it, I want you to identify your goals. Now, with this exercise, I don't want you to worry about the resources or any type of limitation that you have imposed on yourself. Remember, these are just bullshit lies that live in your head. And if you go into your subconscious mind, you can uncover the story behind why you are anchoring your emotions and your feelings and your actions and reactions to these limitations. But I know because you live in an abundant mindset and a prosperous one as well, then I want you to do is focus on certain areas in your life, such as your mental health, your physical health, your finances, your spiritual life, your social life, your career, and your recreational life. Now, for each area, for each focus area, what I want you to do is brainstorm. I want you to brainstorm in order for you to identify the top 10 goals that you wish to achieve. Now, I do want you to keep in mind for each of your goals, each goal should represent the peak, the absolutely highest level which you wish to achieve. So, if it is your finances, I want you to write down numbers and time frames and products and services that you wish to sell, that you wish for others to acknowledge, for others to exchange that monetary energetic compensation system which we have and it's called money. So I want you to write down here your financial goals. I want you to then, step 2, once you have written down 10 of your top goals for this specific area in your life, what I want you to do is give me the priority number for each of these goals. So number 1 will be the highest priority and number 10 will be the lowest priority. Lastly, what I want you to do in this section is write down the goals ranked up to the top 3 priorities in the I am format. This I am format is present time. I don't want you to do the I will try format, which ultimately is the hopeless format that you kind of give it up to chance. You kind of have this wishful thinking. So, what I want you to do is write down your goals, whatever you whatever were your top three above here in step two, I want you to write them down or rewrite them in the I am format. So for example, in this finance sector of life, I am purchasing tickets to attend the Business Mastery program by Tony Robbins for the next year. So I want you to go down and do that for every single focus area in your life. So I want you to brainstorm, I want you to prioritize the goals, and then I want you to rewrite or write down your top three goals here in the I am format. And once you have done that, as you scroll down, the next step is taking action. And so, what I want you to do is have your vision converted into a reality. And so, there's an acronym for the way to effectively write your action steps, and it is by creating smarter goals, is for you to be specific, for you to know exactly what it is that you want to achieve in your business or personal life. And a good goal statement explains the what, the why, the who, the where, and when of a goal. If your goal statement is vague, you will find it hard to achieve this because it will be difficult to define success. So that is the S in smarter goals. The next one is measurable. How will I know when I have achieved my goal? You must be able to track progress and measure the result of your goal. And a good goal statement answers the question how much or how many? How much time do you need? How much do you have to sell? How many people do you have to talk to in order to convert to a sale? So I do want you to keep in mind how is it measurable. The next the next letter in the SMARTER goals is agreed. What is agreed upon? Your goal must be relevant to your stakeholders and agreed with them. And what this means is, like, for example, this has to agree with, like, if you have a team, this has to agree with your employees. If it's a one person band, this has to agree with your customers. This has got to agree with the people who are involved in your business, the people who are involved in your life. So this is something that is agreeable upon your family, your friends, and just your environment. The next action step, it needs to be realistic. So is your goal achievable within the current resources, knowledge, and time that you currently have? Your goal should be stretching but realistic and relevant to you and your company. So make sure that the actions you need to take to achieve your goal are things within your control, within your reach. Now, this does not mean limit yourself and allow your inner critic to destroy the possibility of you having really amazing, great goals. Sometimes when we use the word realistic, what we really do is we downplay the ability that our mind has, the abilities that we have, the knowledge that we have. So I do want you to be realistic, but don't limit yourself. The next thing is time based. When will I achieve my goal? Goals must have a deadline because without time limits, it's easy to put goals off and leave them to die. So, as well as a deadline, it's a good idea to set some sort of short-term milestones along the way to help you measure progress. Also, in life and business, when you are creating these action steps, make sure it's ethical. Goals must sit comfortably within your moral compass. So do reflect into what is ethical to you. Most people resist acting unethically. So set goals that meet a high ethical standard for you. And recorded, the last step is always write down your goals before you start working towards it because written goals are visible and have a greater chance of success. The recording is necessary for the planning, the monitoring, and reviewing of your progress. So these are smarter goals, and what I want you to do is write down action steps for the top three priorities that you have listed here. So I want you to go into each focus area. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you'll have 7 focus areas. So ultimately, I encourage you to write action steps for all 3 priorities of the above focus areas. So there'll be a total of 21 priorities because you'll have 3 top priorities for each focus area. And each focus area, there's 7 of them. So that's 21 priorities. Now, it is totally up to you how many action steps you want to write. What I would do is encourage you to at least write down 3 action steps and make sure they are smarter goals because I want you to be intentional. I want you to be intentional and I want you to hold yourself accountable and others as well. So make sure they're specific, measurable, agreed, realistic, time-based, ethical, and recorded. Now, the second to last thing is I want you to identify your strengths in the areas of development. We all have them. We all have strengths, and you've acquired quite a few already through this program. And also, of course, there's more areas to develop and nurture. So what I want you to focus on are your boosters, your downers, and your gratuities. So with your boosters, what I want you to do is write down all of your strengths, your helpful habits, and personality traits that you work on frequently and that you strive to maintain. These are the things that you're really good at. This is something that I've already kind of created a habit, whether it's praying, whether it's meditation, whether it's answering every comment, whether it's answering every DM, whether it is creating a weekly newsletter or webinar, whatever you strive on maintaining and you frequently maintain it, write all of those down. It can be anywhere in your life and business sector. Your downers, I want you to write down all the things you are working on that help you in order to achieve your life goals. So these aren't things that you're currently working on because they're not necessarily your strength. So it can be maybe the critical person in your head that always wants to appear and just ruin everything. It can be saying yes to more opportunities, or it can be simply saying no to the things that don't resonate with you. It can be not being able to decide quickly on what is good for your life, what is good for your business. So make sure to write down those things that you are currently working on that will help you achieve your life goals. Gratuities. Write down all the actions, all the things and giveaways you implement in your life that express gratitude. So these are either you contributing to charities, you volunteering your time, and maybe you giving out some free coaching, some free mentorship via a live stream, a post, whatever it is that you express gratitude. I want you to write all those things down. Lastly, what I want you to do is make a contract with yourself and also share it with people who you care for and who are your motivators. If you are already married or in a relationship, what I want you to do is share it with your spouse or with your significant other. So they are also involved in this process, in the process of your life planning. In this way, both of you will be able to hold each other accountable. For those times that you're not able to hold yourself accountable, then your partner will. If you do not have a partner, it's totally okay. You will, I'm sure you have a friend that you are very close with, maybe a neighbor or a co-worker, that will be able to hold you accountable. If not, just go online and express to people that you are wanting someone to hold you accountable. There will be someone there wanting to kick your butt every time that you miss doing the things that you said you're going to do. So, in your own words, what I want you to do is create a contract with yourself by stating all the focus areas, priority goals, and actions that you will take in order to live a purpose driven life filled with tons of fulfillment, love, and passion. And if you are ready to embark in this new and exciting journey, please type your name below and then add today's date. So this is really important. You can just write it down here. The things that you will be doing offline are your action steps. I do want to remind you, because writing things down with a pen and paper has a really huge impact on engraving things into your mind. And I highly suggest for you to take time to write down the action steps for all of the focus areas. So I cannot emphasize this enough. It is not enough to just write down your goals and to rank your priorities, although this is a very impactful step because then you will be able to see what is a priority to you. But if you don't have the action steps and if you don't take action, then nothing's going to change in your life. So I do want you to do this offline. I heard highly encouraging you to either type it up on a document, but really, I mean, I'll make the exception for that, but honestly, there's nothing like grabbing that pen and writing things on paper, because you are being involved in it emotionally, spiritually. Your brain is able to record that deep into your subconscious mind. So I do want you to take this offline. Now, your next assignment is objections. So since we are focusing on sealing and securing the deals this week, I do want you to become aware that since you will be dealing with people, you will be dealing with objections from people. So at the moment, likely you are a one person type of business and you don't have a dedicated sales team, and that's totally okay. So likely either you are on one side of the spectrum, either you feel super comfortable because you have a sales background, or you're just like super anxious and fearful of selling because it's something that you don't feel confident in. And the thing is, that's okay, but we are here to develop this because ultimately you're going to have to put yourself out there, get completely out of your comfort zone in order for you to actually make the money that you want to make, in order for you to close the deal. And this is going to be a process. The sales process does exist, and it is as simple as marketing yourself on Instagram, marketing yourself on Facebook, whether you run an ad or you do it organically. And then you send people through the sales funnel, which would be either a landing page where you tell them if they put down their email, then you will in exchange give them a freebie. Now this freebie has value, and then from there you're going to do a little email sequence, an email nurturing, where you are having a conversation with them, and then you either take them to a discovery call, which would be free, or you take them straight to the product or the service that you are wanting to sell. Now, you will come across objections, and they likely occur. You're going to experience them one-on-one live when you choose to hop on a discovery call. Now, a discovery call is meant for you to hop on the phone for about 30 minutes to an hour. And these are the people who hop on the discovery calls likely are the people who are facing massive pain. They're wanting solutions, and they have already gained some trust from you in one shape or another, whether it was through your freebie, whether it's constant exposure online, constant exposure through your marketing tactics, through your live streams, whatever it is. These people have already built trust and they want to hop on these calls with you. So what you're going to experience is objections, and there's all types of objections. But before I go into what kind of objections they are, I do want you to think about what type of objections you've been encountering lately. If you've put yourself out there and by now you've already said, hey, I'm in business, I am selling this product, this service, I want you to let me know all of the objections that you have already encountered. Next, I want you to tell me, how have you been feeling about the objections you've been receiving? I want to know what kind of emotions have been stirring up, what kind of thoughts have been stirring up, what kind of reactions have been stirring up. Write it all down here. Next, what I want you to do is how have tell me how have you been responding back to objections? Are you the type of person that just, you know, says, screw it, they don't want anything from me, I'm not going to push it anymore, I'm just going to drop it, not even answer? Or do you still insist and try to work things out and try to understand and try to compromise with them, and also share with them why why your product, your service is valuable? And lastly, I want you to tell me is, why do you think people have been reluctant to purchasing your product and service? This is going to take some massive honesty, but it's also going to take some massive thought as to why you think. And so, whether it's true or not, I want you to write it down, but whatever is in your mind, write it down. These are the type of objections that there are. I mean, there's plenty more, but these are some of the sales objections during the selling process that you'll come across. And it's people who don't like the price. So, for example, some people might say, your services cost too much. I can get the same service from someone cheaper. And so, what you can do here, and what I recommend, and what I want you to take into account, is that when the bottom line is the biggest hurdle for a client, you need to help them justify the cost. Try breaking down your total cost into smaller amounts that are attached to smaller services so the client can see why your price point is what it is. And make sure you focus on the unique value of your products and services that the client won't be able to get from any other provider. This is where you ultimately shine as bright as you can. And you can say, yeah, of course you can go to them, they're cheaper, but this is the reason why I'm pricing it at this price point, because I'm delivering X, Y, and Z, and I'm giving you this much attention and this much of me. The second most common objection that people will give you, and I feel like you've probably already have come across, is complacency. Some people will say, I'm okay with the way things are working out right now. I don't need it. Things are working great, or I'm okay with the way things are working out. I don't need anything. And so when complacency is the culprit, you can try to use just a touch of fear to get the client to see why he or she needs to start thinking about making changes. Share some of the research about the competition and some of the changes they've made in their businesses. So this is where you let them know that pretty much this is where people are moving right now. And if they are left behind in complacency, they are missing out. And so what you want to let them know of the things that they are missing out in order for them to be fearful of missing out. So complacency, the best way to counterattack that is to create major FOMO, the fear of missing out. You want to paint the picture of what people are missing out because they are complacent in their life. The next objection is the fear of change. So, for example, they'll say, I don't want to change the way we've been doing things for 15 years. Too much can go wrong. And there are some people out there who are so scared of moving past their comfort zone. And, that's okay. Everybody's entitled to the way that they want to live. But often related to complacency, having a fear of change can make the decision making process a difficult one for many business owners and many people. One way to overcome subjection is to demonstrate past examples of change and how it was positive. For example, show the client a list of different ways the industry has changed over the 10 to 15 years, or how your niche has changed over the last 10 to 15 years, and how the potential customer has adapted to those changes for the better. This can help him or her be less fearful and more confident about changing things up. So sometimes what people just need is just testimonials and examples. And this is where you having your personal testimonials from your products, from your services, from people working with you helps out majorly, because then they will trust you, which leads to the next objection, trust. Some people will say, it seems like you know what you're doing, but how do I know you really have the necessary experience to do this? So some people will be skeptical because they don't know much of you and they got like a few or one exposure from you. In that moment, they decided to hop on a call with you, but they don't necessarily know exactly who you are, and they've seen testimonials from you, or maybe they haven't, but they don't yet have that trust. So trust is something that takes time to build. I do want you to know that. So if this is a hurdle for your potential client, you need to be honest and consistent across the board to overcome the objection. Be forthcoming with your information and share as many testimonials as you can, as many case studies and references that will take away some of that uncertainty and give the client confidence in your ability to get the job done. Trust me, sometimes that's what it takes. I know that for me, when I was purchasing my biggest mentorship program where I wanted coaching and mentorship, it was a big chunk of money for me at the time. And so I necessarily didn't trust. But once she provided testimonials and the things that she's done, I'm like, you know what? There's plenty of evidence. Let's do it. So sometimes people just need the evidence. Know that other people will have the objection of personal politics, meaning some people will say, I need to run this by my wife, by my husband, by my business partner, by my mentor, by my best friend, by my sister, by my mom, by my dog, by God, before I do anything else. And this can often be a positive outcome, assuming the client is truly consulting with others and God and not just using it as an excuse. One way to make sure it doesn't end up as a deal ending sales objection is to attempt to stay in the process. So, what I mean by that is like try suggesting a joint sales meeting between the client and their counterparts, whether it's their significant other, their mom, their dog, in order to answer any questions and help facilitate the decision making. And then one of the last common objections is timing. So, for example, some people will say, it's too much for me to take on right now. I'm too busy. Like, I wish I could, but I'm in school right now, or I have, and I'm taking care of like 10 dogs, and my mother is sick, and currently I just don't have time. Call me again, or let's touch base again in 6 months. Just know if time management or lack of time is an issue for the client right now, chances are it will still be an issue in 6 months or a year. To overcome this objection, you need to make the decision to hire you an easy one. So, what I suggest is start by listing all of the benefits of working with you, outline the value of the products and the services you offer, and explain how easy it is to get started. Make the decision to hire you a no brainer, and you will remove this objection. So, keep in mind that your potential clients may have more than one objection, so it's important to be able to identify each one as you see it occur. And once you know what is stopping the sales process, you can arm yourself with the right arguments that will tip the scale in your favor. So, really, when it comes to objections, I know it can be really scary if you don't have a sales background or if you have had the belief that sales are icky and sharks only go after the sale. But once you start building a relationship, a better, healthy relationship with selling, and you go through the numbers, and what I mean by that, you're going through the average, because there is a law of averages. You got to expose your business to as many people as you can, and you don't have to say like, hey, buy my product today and receive 10% off. Like, that's not how you want to sell them. You want to sell them on the pain points and the solutions that your product has. You want to sell them with the testimonials that you have. You want to sell them by providing value and having people say like, holy crap, this like really was an impact for my life. I want more. And that more can be hopping on a discovery call, or it can just be simply letting people know that there's a limited time offer on the table, and that if they don't take action within this time frame, they're going to lose out until the next round, if there is a next round. I have also included sound therapy, which is meant for you to release your inner conflict. So that is on YouTube. It is playing at a certain frequency. I also have included how to conquer paralysis. Here we'll explain to you why some people get stuck. What are the instructions on how to get unstuck? And so pretty much if you answer these questions here, you will discover what is keeping you stuck. And then there are also some tips on how to conquer paralysis and how to take action. And then lastly, the Daily Power 70. So this is the breakdown of 70 minutes that I highly recommend for you to take out of your day in order for you to block out all the distractions and create an awesome daily power hour for you to really attract your dream clients, for you to attract the people you are meant to hear, to serve, to work with. It does include meditation, it includes creating, it includes exposing, serving, reflecting, reviewing, and documenting. This is the Daily Power 70. And really, that is all that I have for you for week 12. And congratulations, you have made it to the last week. And if there is anything else that I can do for you, please let me know. I am always here for you. Just as a reminder, you have lifetime access to the League of Women. I will be adding updates, more resources, more tools, potentially more master classes as we progress throughout time with more women. I will be giving the updates, so be in the lookout for that. And until then, I wish upon you tons of amazing manifestations in your business and in your life. Send you tons of love, and we will be on the lookout for each other.